Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Jenn, who is a family nurse practitioner practicing out of Michigan. Currently, she is working as a cardiology nurse practitioner at a local hospital full-time. She is going part-time in 6 weeks as she has had an aesthetic side hustle for the past 2 years, but recently started a weight loss clinic 4 months ago. She's having trouble managing her time and prioritizing tasks in her business. She feels stuck on what direction to go to get her business from mediocre to stellar so she can eventually break free from the rat race. Hey, Jenn, how are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for hopping on here. So let's get to it. So bring me up to speed with where you're at in life. How long have you been a nurse practitioner for and what you've been doing?
So I became a nurse in 2004 and I worked cardiology, inpatient, step down, and then intensive care. And then I went part-time back for my NP. I became an NP in 2014. And I've mostly done cardiology since then, inpatient cardiology in local hospitals. I dabbled a little bit in trauma, neurosurgery, those kind of things at one hospital for a year or so. And then I'm back to cardiology and I've been doing that ever since. A couple of years ago, I took a Botox and filler course. So I've been doing that on the side for about 2 years, a little over that. And then I took your weight management course. And so I've started that back in January. So I've been doing that for a few months, but just very preliminary. My website's almost done. I have some social media pages up that I put a little bit of content, but I'm just kind of lost as to where to go, where to spend my time since I am still working full time right now.
So you're going to go part-time here soon though, right?
Yes, part-time in about 6 weeks.
Okay, so let's just start here for a minute. So you're going from full-time to part-time. So you're going from probably, I'm assuming, a pretty decent six-figure salary down to probably half that?
Yeah. So like right now I work basically about 3 days a week, some days 4 shorter days. So I'll basically work like 2 days a week. I could see in the beginning picking up some extra shifts if I don't really, I guess this is kind of another place that I want advice. Like if I need the money, do I pick up the extra shifts or do I really put all my time into, growing this business? Like that's where I kind of feel torn often.
Well, where are you at financially first? I mean, cutting to part-time can be risky. So I'm assuming you've gone over your budget and whatnot and you feel pretty comfortable with this decision.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially I hardly advertise for any of my Botox stuff. I hardly advertise and I have like a pretty good little side hustle with that. So I feel like if
Okay.
I kind of maybe worst case, I don't even want to say worst case because I do want to do that as well. But worst case is I could just really advertise that more and that could be a side supplement to it. I'm our stable income though in our family. My husband owns and manages a couple global 24 fitness center gyms and then like a functional fitness gym, but he kind of spreads his time between all three. So none of them are like crazy busy, crazy successful, I guess I should say. So I'm definitely like the stable income, the insurance and all of that, which, that is a little bit of a stressor to me to, make sure that I'm keeping my insurance. I'm just paying a little bit extra and all of that. But, I
Sure.
do want to come as close to my, salary that I was making full time as I can, and then obviously hopefully more.
So how close are you to that salary if you count in, let's say the part-time salary, cardiology MP gig, and then the money you're bringing in from the aesthetic stuff? Like, are you close?
Well, I probably am about, I would say maybe $1,000 off each month.
That's not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'm just trying to get to, you're not going to be living paycheck to paycheck, stressed out, going part-time. Like you're good for a while.
No. Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
You'll be okay. Okay, good. Okay. All right. I just want to get that out of the way just to make sure, starting a business and going part-time and whatnot. I mean, it just comes down to how much money you're spending on expenses, your personal budget and that kind of thing. I mean, some people need a lot of money to maintain their lifestyle and some people don't. So you've been doing this aesthetics thing for a couple years now, and you recently started this weight loss clinic 4 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, I mean, just out of curiosity, why just that? Are you doing the aesthetics there as well? I mean, these brick and mortar practices, mobile clinics, kind of walk me through with, what you set up.
Okay. So the aesthetics, I started out kind of just doing basically mostly like parties, and then I do it out of my home. And so my collaborative physician, so it's actually a nurse friend of mine who is super good business wise. So he has like a business where he has collaborative physicians. So he's my collaborative or they are my collaborative for the Botox and filler and the medical weight loss. So he has a location like about 20 minutes from me. So I can inject there, but I don't really. I mostly do it out of my house and then out of the gyms that we have. So we've got in my town, we have a functional fitness gym that my husband runs. So I do my weight loss stuff out of there. That's where I have my 2 clients right now that are a part of it. And then we have like a 24/7 gym about 20 minutes away. And then the other one's about 40 minutes away. The gym that's about 20 minutes out, I have like an office there and everything. So that I kind of see being one of my main areas of like practicing. I'd like to kind of build an office there and really have like a good clientele there. I think it'll be the best location for it. The 45 minutes away is kind of, it's a little bit of a hike and it's in a really, really tiny town. So it's not that I can't go there. I would, but I think the 20-minute away gym is probably going to be my area.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, use what you got. I mean, keep expenses as low as possible, right? I mean, and that's your clientele. You could do the aesthetics out of there. You could do the weight loss out of there. You could do everything out of there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you'd be a fool not to take advantage of that. Is it going to cost you any money to be there?
No, I mean, no, it's our place. It's an open office. And that's sometimes I feel like that's like some of my struggle is like, I have this right here basically in my backyard. And I just like, don't have that push to like really get going. And I don't know if it's because I'm scared that it's something new. And, I don't know, this is where I'm kind of like, just kind of freaked out over all of it. I mean, I feel like when I listen to your podcast and everything, I have such a great like situation, to start that. And it's just something is like holding me back to not just get up there and, start. And I guess I don't know, do I start by doing like free little seminars where I talk about the medications? I don't know. I don't know where to start to like get to draw people in with that kind of stuff.
I think you should just start as you would with any other practice. I mean, just follow the steps in the course. I mean, there's no difference. You just happen to be in a gym.
Okay.
I mean, you should still be able to get a Google business listing, as long as you could try to get a separate address for that office, separate website, located in so-and-so gym. I mean, your clientele are walking in and out of there every single day. Like, this is a perfect situation.
Yeah.
So and I think when you go part-time, it's going to give you that push.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I don't think it might be a little bit of some fear, like you said. You don't really know, what direction to go. You're kind of fearful of doing it, but you have an amazing opportunity compared to most MPs I've talked with. I mean, you basically have a free office.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. You should take full advantage of it. If you don't want to take full advantage of that, I'm sure an MP listening to this right now would be more than happy to email you and take advantage of it.
Right. And that's where I feel like just do it, Jen. Just get your butt up there and just start doing it. And then
exactly.
But okay.
Once you get moved in, you get it furnished, you get a sign up on the wall outside or, on the road. I mean, you'll be like, okay, well, that was easy. And then you just start seeing patients. You're gonna be like, why didn't I do this 6 months ago? You know what I mean? So I would say start there, get in there and just get going. Okay. Now that other location, 45 minutes away in the smaller town, small towns are gold mines for this kind of stuff because no one else is there.
Okay. Yeah.
So some MPs I've talked with who have some of the most profitable practices don't live in a major city. They live in a little town because there's no one else doing it. And so people are people. They need these services just, anywhere else. And so I was the first person to open up a men's health clinic in my city. I mean, it's only 100,000 people. It's not small, but it's not big. And, we kill it. I know another MP who opened up a wellness practice in a small town and just absolutely killing it. So it might be worthwhile. Maybe just go up there one day a week or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Just go there on Friday afternoons or something like that. Schedule some patients out, see them, and then you're done. Make a few $1,000s, whatever it may be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, kind of with that, I wanted to ask you about, because I know some of my fear is, I've done cardiology as a nurse and then as an NP, I feel like I know it inside and out and it's so, ingrained in me. And so all of this other stuff is new. And I get so much info on your Facebook page, but I was wondering about the memberships and that for your, that you can be a part of on your website. Does that give more, would that give me more access to have help in terms of specific patient questions and things like that if I struggle?
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to post more, secure questions that aren't public, I mean, no Facebook group on Facebook is private. It's just not. Sorry. It's just not, people will always fake credentials and get in. And there's always snakes out there that take pictures and feed it to, these organizations that are anti-NP. And so a lot of people are fearful of posting clinical questions on there. The Elite NP Inner Circle private membership program, I mean, you have to submit copies of, your license and stuff like that. I personally review those and then let you in. And it's a paid membership, So So if you post a clinical question there, I mean, we'd be able to answer it more. I'm the one that typically answers those questions. You can always shoot me an email too if you wanted to. But I mean, understand your fear of doing something new, but think to yourself this real quick. So you are trained in cardiology, right?
Yep.
What's the biggest risk with a lot of these weight loss medications, especially the stimulants and whatnot? It's typically cardiac related, right? And so you already knocked out the biggest risk here. You're pretty good. You know what I mean? There's not really a whole lot of things you need to worry about, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, these medications are extremely safe. I mean, they really are. If you can manage hypertension or someone's AFib or their, anticoagulation therapy or whatever it may be, I mean, weight loss is a walk in the park comparatively, I mean, these things are extremely safe. I mean, this isn't life and death management like you're doing with cardiology. So I just don't think you should worry about it. It's simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the push I needed.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to run into some difficult situations. No question about it. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, you're always going to have a difficult patient, but it's not life or death. Worst case scenario, you just discharge them. Pick your battles wisely here. I mean, sometimes it's not worth taking on a patient who's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Just let him go. It's not worth the $150 a month or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Okay. So another question. My name, my business name is Mission Medical Weight Loss. But since I took the weight management course. I then took the peptide course, and I just got approved for like our local pharmacy to get the peptides and stuff. So I'm going to just start putting people on them. They seem like they're amazing. And I feel like I could have so many clients at all of our locations using the peptides. Do you think that I just incorporate it and keep my name, or do I change my name to like Mission Medical Weight Loss and Wellness? Or do I need to add something else in there by doing peptides?
Are you wanting to do the aesthetic side of this as well, or are you wanting to keep that a completely separate business?
I mean, I can't, it doesn't matter. I could.
I mean, I think you should, because aesthetics and weight loss are going to feed each other.
Okay.
Right. And so I think that maybe you should just do a full integration of everything here.
Okay.
But keep weight loss in the name.
Okay.
You could just do something like, Mission Weight Loss, Aesthetics and Wellness.
Okay.
And just leave it at that. I mean, that's a pretty simple name. It gets the point across.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, Mission Weight Loss, Aesthetics and Wellness Center or Wellness Clinic.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it very, very simple. The website domain name can be whatever you want, Mission Health or Mission Weight Center or whatever. The domain itself doesn't really matter that much.
Okay. But pull it all into one website. Don't separate it all.
I would, because, they're all complementary services. I mean, I do tend to agree that I think that it's a good idea to separate out services depending on the situation. In your situation, you already have patients in both of these service lines. Why not just integrate it all together? Speaking of which, what about competition? Do you have much competition for this stuff in your area?
I mean, I would say like with the Botox and fillers, yes, there's people all over the place. But in terms of the weight loss, not so much. One, I hear a commercial for all of the time. I don't think that they integrate any medications. It's just like a really super low calorie diet. It's like lose 40 pounds in 40 days. So I don't really feel like that is maybe my competition at all.
No.
There's one group that does use, on the website, I can't find what medications they prescribe, but they do something. And they have an office in my town, but I didn't know it until I Googled it. And then like a couple, like half an hour in one direction and half an hour in another. And then there's like a little weight loss clinic that's next to a grocery store down the road. But I know a lot of people in the town, and I don't really know people that go there. So
what's the population of your city?
Probably around 40,000.
Okay. So 40,000 people just in your town. It seems like a lot of competition for a small town. What about like the county?
In my county, so I'm at the northern end of my county, and then actually the gym that I would be out of most is in the next county. My county, there's 1.25 million people, and then the other counties, 405,000. That would be the county that I would, have the office at mostly. And it's the county of the other gym that I would go to, maybe one day a week or whatever, like you said.
The small town. Yeah.
The small town, yeah.
Where you're at in the other county, is there any competition? Like that's where your office is going to be. That's what matters.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to look because I'm not.
Okay.
I've Googled my county, but I actually have not Googled that.
Yeah. So, your county doesn't matter. Who cares? What matters is where you're going to be at, right? That's what matters.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you need to do some market research. If you have a lot of competition at the closer location, okay, but you have zero competition in the smaller town,
okay,
it might be worthwhile to be in the smaller town.
Okay.
As long as there's 10,000 people. Okay, it's worthwhile. This county has 400 something thousand people. That's a lot of people. Is it a huge county? Like how long does it take to drive across it? Would you estimate? Hour?
Yeah, less than an hour, I would say.
Less than an hour. So it's really not that big of a county. So that's a lot of people. You live in a very highly densely populated area. I mean, there's 1.6 million people in just these two counties alone. So competition's it's really not that big of a deal. There's a lot of people there. So the smaller town might be worthwhile. Your advantage here is that you have two office locations at your disposal.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is I would be at that one gym maybe 2 or 3 days a week, and then the other place 1 day a week. Okay. And if the other place is blowing up, that's where you focus your energy on, and that's where you grow. The world will tell you where the services are needed. Okay. My two men's health practices, one of them is very, very busy. The other one is kind of flat. It's growing, but it's just growing very slowly. I don't
Okay.
focus a whole lot of energies on that one because it's
Okay.
not worth my time,
Okay.
right? So you need to focus your energies where the money is.
Okay.
So that's what I would do. Maybe this other gym 2 days a week, the other one day a week, and just leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay. This isn't a 5 day a week thing right now. It really should just only be a couple days. It's going to take time to build up clientele.
Okay. Yeah.
So in terms of your practice name goes, I think just, weight loss, aesthetics and wellness or whatever. I think that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah. And then plus you're bringing your aesthetics patients over and everything as well. I would just operate out of one LLC for all this. It's separate LLCs is unnecessary. Just one business, one bank account, one malpractice policy. Just make sure it's all in one entity. And then, maybe the aesthetics will be paying the bills for a while until the weight loss takes off. And then peptides and, chances are you'll probably integrate other stuff into it too at some point. Patients being like, hey, why don't you do hormone pellets? Or why don't you do testosterone or, those kinds of things. So you need to listen to your patients and just deliver what they want, satisfy the demand.
I've already had like friends and stuff ask about testosterone and that kind of thing. And that is my next course that I was going to do. Like, do you think that I get going on that right away, or do I need to slow down and figure out the rest of this stuff?
Well, the aesthetics, right?
Yeah.
The weight loss is really not that hard. It might not be a bad idea to offer some hormone replacement therapy. Again, it depends on what's available in your area. If there's 8 men's health clinics, I wouldn't bother.
Okay.
If there's 5 or 6 places doing hormone pellets, I probably wouldn't bother. But if there's not a whole lot of competition, then it's probably worthwhile to offer those things as well.
Okay.
And when you offer multiple services like this, what you'll find is that you'll find winners, you'll find keepers, and then you'll find ones that just kind of aren't doing that well,
Okay.
And so that will be the direction that you go. Yeah. Like basically let the world tell you, what they want. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and that other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. There's going to be winners, there's going to be losers in terms of the services you provide. I've provided services at my men's health practice that were total duds. And then I've provided services that were, rock stars. It's the same thing as like courses that I make. Some courses are absolute rock stars. Other ones are kind of They're kind of duds. It just happens. It's part of business. So if you want to offer those things, I say, if there's a demand for it, I say go for it.
Okay.
So do you have any other questions in terms of what direction you're going to go into? I know you said you were having some problems prioritizing tasks. So what's going on there? How do you feel?
Yeah.
I guess why do you feel that way? Like,
I guess like on my days off from, my other job, I will like sit down and, so I have a friend who has set up my website, but now, I'm kind of like, okay, do I just need to hire somebody? Because, it's okay. I just don't know if he's done a good job with like the SEO and that kind of thing. As I'm listening to, your podcast more, I'm seeing how important that is. And he's getting it up on Google, any day that should be up on Google. And I know about the Google reviews and all of that. So I'll do all of that. But, so like I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to just, work on the website or whatever. And then I have, okay, well then how do I get my EMR, situated, and how should I have the patients book these appointments? And so I think I just get like trapped with like all of these like little tasks that I don't really know exactly how I don't know where to go.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the startup process of a business. I mean, there's so much stuff to do, but when you start knocking things out, you realize it really wasn't that much to do. So what you need to do is you need to have utilize the notes on your phone. Every phone has a little notes app, right?
Yep.
And so what I did when I was first getting started, I mean, I kind of had this problem too. I was like, oh my God, I have so much to do. And then like things would cross my mind and it just felt like it never ended. And what I started doing was I would just pop open the note. I have an Android phone, so it was like Samsung Notes or whatever the hell it was. And I would just open it up and I would type it in. As soon as it came to my mind, I would type it in that note. And after about a week or so, what you'll realize is you'll be able to look at all the tasks that have been crossing your mind that need to be done. And then you'll look at those tasks and you'll be like, okay, which ones are a priority? Essentially, which ones are going to generate income? All right. Which ones do I need to get patients in the door? Right. Which ones do I need to do to remain compliant and legal? Those are the things that you focus on. Little busy bullshit tasks you don't have to worry about. It's not that important. Like the note template in your EMR. While that is important, that's not going to bring patients in the door.
Yeah. Okay.
Like what color fonts on your website or something. Like, I mean, just little things like that don't matter. You need to be thinking to yourself, what's going to bring patients in the door? Okay. So income generation, because you're not making any money unless people are walking in the door and purchasing services from you. So that is income per activity. Okay. Income generating work or busy work. So ask yourself those questions. So you review those tasks that you write in the, in the little note section on your phone. Is this income generating work or is this busy work? Okay. Is this something that I need to do to remain legally compliant, regulatory compliant, or is it not? If it's not, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Yep.
So that'll be a way for you to prioritize tasks in your business. That's what I did.
What about like a blog on my website? I hear all these people talk about that they have these blogs on their website. Like, is that something that I would want to get going right away or way down the road?
No, I think that's a good idea to have a blog right from the get-go. I mean, it does multiple things for you. Okay. It will increase your SEO. The more content on your website, the higher the chance of people finding your website. Okay. So when people are searching for hormone replacement therapy or weight loss or aesthetics or whatever it may be in your area, if you have a lot of content on your website, the chances of your website organically going to the top are much higher. Okay. It also makes you look like the expert. Patients land to your website, they click the blog, they start reading the blogs, they're like, wow, this person knows what they're doing. This was really, really insightful, right? So it's going to increase patient conversions. Also, it's going to help you because you'll be doing research. You'll be writing down your thoughts, your processes and whatnot on paper. And it really helps bring everything together in your mind. Yeah. There's many, many beneficial things about writing things out like that. There really is. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have the time for it, why not?
All right.
One article a week. It doesn't have to be crazy. Okay. Yeah.
And then with that also, what's your thoughts on like social media and doing videos on there or stories and reels? And I'm not really a big TikTok person, so I don't really know that I would be there, but Instagram and Facebook, I have pages, but I don't, I'll make content posts here and there, but I don't do videos or anything like that.
I think it's only necessary if you're going to be promoting it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people post, stuff on their Facebook pages and whatnot. A lot of people might not agree with me here. Unless you have a large following, then posting stuff on your Facebook page and stuff is likely going to fall on deaf ears. You know what I mean? Just clicking on your page. A lot of times they're not going to unless they're being directed to that. But again, if you have a lot of content on there, if a potential patient does land on it, then they see you as an expert and whatnot. So all you could do, you could just cross post the blogs, for example, you know what I mean? Onto the social media pages. Yeah. But I don't want you spending a whole lot of time with a bunch of videos and stuff when, other marketing strategies work as well. I mean, you don't have to create a video. I mean, you don't. Marketing is kind of moving towards more video and audio formats, those sorts of things. So if you promote it to your target audience, okay, there's an actual offer being delivered. There's an actual point to it. Okay. then it's definitely going to be worthwhile. But you just getting on there and just talking, it might fall on deaf ears. So I'm not saying don't do it. I just don't think it's necessary right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've heard you say a couple times like memberships and things like that. And that's sort of the structure that I used for my patients so far. Like they pay $400 a month. They're both on semaglutide. So they pay $400 a month with a 3-month commitment. They get their medication for that time. So the first, as I'm just starting them off, I'm obviously making more money than once they're at the full dose. But is that the way you'd recommend it to do a membership, or do you just basically charge for the medication?
No, I think membership structures work best.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's more of long term,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, when you run all the numbers, it's kind of the same thing. If you just charge for the medication and you charge for the visit, or you charge them just a flat monthly fee, when you break it down, it pretty much comes out to be about the same amount of money. But in my opinion, I think patients find it refreshing as it being an all-inclusive fee because they don't feel like they're being nickel and dimed.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
If you charge for every visit, they're going to be like, this person just wants to see me all the time, so they can charge me a visit. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why I like the membership. And plus you can just put on automatic payment. Patients don't even have to think about it. It's pretty nice. And you make it an all-inclusive thing. You can just add one little additional service to it to really increase the value. And so with like weight loss, let's say you're doing the semaglutide, for $400 a month, that includes the visits as well. Just throwing in a free B12 shot into it, it costs you nothing, but it really increases the value.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And plus it treats some of the nausea and whatnot with the semaglutide.
Do you recommend that same membership thing for peptides in that, or those are just kind of as you need them?
That's kind of hard to say. Peptides, in my opinion, are more of an add-on service.
Okay.
They do work by themselves. They do. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Mm-hmm. They do. In that case, yeah, maybe a membership program would work as well. At my men's health clinic, if I have a patient who just wants to be on a peptide, then we just charge them, we charge them a monthly fee.
Okay.
So at my men's health clinic, you have to pay a monthly fee to basically be seen for anything that we do.
Okay.
Okay. You can't just come in and buy a bottle of, tadalafil and walk away. You'll be on $60 a month for the tadalafil. You know what I mean? We'll put you on a membership program for it. Same thing with a peptide, $220 a month, for example. And that gets you one vial of it and the visit.
Okay.
So you could do it that way as well. But if you're going to have like a general membership, so let's say, for example, you have someone on a weight loss membership and they're on semaglutide or phentermine or whatever, and they want to add a peptide to it, then you would just basically charge them an additional fee for that vial, for example. Does that make sense?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's about it. Nothing else is really, I think you've answered all of my questions, honestly.
Yeah. I think they were really good questions, to be honest with you. I really do. They were very, very focused and meaningful questions. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of your stuff together here, and those were really, really relevant questions and important questions, as you start a business. Yeah, just prioritizing tasks. I think that if you're getting stuck with what to do, just pick one and go and just start knocking them off. Okay. I still have those notes in my phone. And I loaded them up a few months ago or whatever. I was kind of cleaning out my phone. And I looked at the list that I wrote, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was. And I looked at that list. I'm like, I still haven't done that. Well, I'm fine. So I'm not really worried about it. Delete. It's not that important. You know what I mean? I'm not joking. There was still stuff on that list that I never did. You know what I mean? Because it's not important.
Yeah.
It's busy work.
When did you know then that you needed to hire somebody to handle some of the scheduling and the things like that for you? I mean, obviously I won't need somebody right away, but how do you know when you need that person?
You'll know. You'll be pulling your hair out. You're going to know. Okay. Now, with my medical cannabis clinic, it was kind of a one-man show. And so I would sit there at the reception desk in the lobby. I was literally the only person there. And so I had a patient schedule at 10. Okay, I'd bring him back. I would do the evaluation. I'd walk outside, back to the lobby, let him go, collect payment or whatever. Then there'd be someone else there 20 minutes later. I would check him in. So I was doing it all myself. And so I did that for a little while. And when I opened up my men's health clinic, I knew this clinic was going to be a little bit different. I wanted to do it right from the get-go. And so I had enough money saved to pay a medical assistant receptionist for 3 or 4 months. So I wasn't too worried about it. And so I was like, I'm going to hire a medical assistant receptionist right from the get-go because there's no way I could do all this by myself. And so I did. The medical assistant receptionist, I was only paying him for 3 or 4 days a week, and they didn't do a whole lot. Like the first month, that person basically just sat on their ass and got paid. But it got busier, it got busier, it got busier. And I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I made that decision because that person was able to grow with me from the start. And today that individual is my office manager, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like I started paying him, I think $15 an hour or whatever when I first opened. And now he's making well over $20 an hour in, in less than 3 years, which is really good money for a guy in his mid-20s who's just a medical assistant, right?
Right.
So keep that in mind. It might not be a bad idea to hire someone right from the get-go or within the first month. I think that you'll know when it's time.
Okay.
When it's taking you away from those income generating activities. Okay. That's when it's time to hire people, because if you're sitting there doing a bunch of busy work like scheduling and answering the phone and collecting payments, I mean, that's just busy work. So when you find yourself doing more busy work than income generating work, like seeing patients, marketing, those are the 2 income generating activities in a business. It's time to hire someone. That's how you make money as a nurse practitioner. You need to see patients. That's how you make money.
Is your marketing, are you guys up and going with that yet?
The Elite NP marketing service?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You just go to the main website and click on Elite NP marketing and website development, SEO, and social media, Google marketing. It's all there. It's a little pricey. Some MPs are like, I can't pay that. But I mean, you get what you pay for. Marketing should be the number one expense in your business. So do you need that right now? Maybe not. You could just see what happens over a few months. Okay. If it's kind of flat, then it'd probably be the time to hire some help. Or if you just want your website done by a professional, then the web developer that that I partnered with for this, his name is Will. He literally, all he does is NP specific practice websites. Like he's become really good at it. He's really, really good at it. If you want someone he's done well over 100 NP practice websites. Like they're really, really good. Yeah. And then the SEO, you're spending a little bit of money on SEO right from the get-go can really accelerate your search engine presence. So that's a worthwhile investment. You'll typically spend a couple $1,000s on really fine tuning the SEO on your website. Now, do you have to do that? No, you do not. If you have content on there like blog posts and whatnot, and you don't have a whole lot of competition, then it's probably unnecessary. If you have a lot of competition, then you need an SEO strategy in place. If you do not, don't waste your money.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Oh, one last one.
Okay.
For not having a lot of money to put forward, what would you recommend? Like in terms of, do you think I need to pay for any Facebook ads or anything like that right now? Or should I just hit the people in the gyms and post, poster boards and things like that, or, signs and do it that way? Or what would be a good amount of money to put towards marketing in the beginning? If I were to do that, and where should I put it?
If you have the money, I mean, I'd say about $1,000 a month to start off with. Take advantage of the free stuff first, though. I mean, use the tool that you have right now, right? When I first started my men's health clinic, all we did was I did some Google search ads.
Okay.
And I advertised in bars and restaurants. That's all I did at first. That's all I did for a few months, and it worked.
Okay.
So I didn't have to spend a whole lot of money at first. Okay. Use what you got. I know some NPs that operate very, very successful businesses who've spent very little on marketing, word of mouth. It just blew up. You never know. This is your advantage. You really don't need the income right now. Yeah. So you have some wiggle room here to experiment. Take that for what it is. I mean, if you want to give it a month and maybe just do some posters and walk in traffic, go put, get a sign out on the road and get a website and your Google business listing. You want to just keep it at that for a little while. Do it.
Yeah. I think I probably will do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I would suggest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I got then.
Okay. Well, I like to end the episodes with you asking me a question. Do you have any personal questions or anything you've been curious about?
I guess if you could start over what would be like the very first type of clinic or whatever that you would open, and how would you get started knowing what you know now?
Oh, I would have done the men's health for sure. I moved from a very restricted state to an independent state. And, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have just opened up the practice in that restricted state, just paid for the collaborator and been done with it, because there was opportunities there that I didn't see because I didn't know how to see them. And so now I do know how to see opportunities. When you develop an entrepreneurial mindset, you start beginning to see opportunities everywhere. And I didn't have that mindset then. I mean, I kind of did, but it wasn't developed as it is now. And so I probably would have just stayed there and just bit the bullet, paid for a collaborator, and I probably would have opened up the practice there. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Any good books you recommend, like that you read that got you going, or any like good resources that you'd recommend?
In terms of books go, I like The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur.
Okay.
That's seriously the name of the book, The Toilet Paper Entrepreneur.
Okay.
It teaches you how to start a business and be lean with it. The whole premise is, you don't need the whole roll of toilet paper. You only need a few sheets, right? Like you make it work. Like if you're on the toilet and there's only a few sheets of toilet paper left and there's no other option, you're going to make it work.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the premise of it. So like starting a lean business, you don't need a bunch of fancy stuff. You don't need to spend a bunch of money. You can make a business lean and you can make it very profitable with low overhead. And I think that book helped me create the Elite NP model and shape my own business life around those principles. So buy it. It's a quick read. Seriously, it only takes you a few hours to read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
So, all right, cool. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. I'm really excited about where you're going to go. If you want to hop another phone call in 6 to 12 months and go over where you're at, I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Justin.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
I hope everyone enjoyed the conversation with Jenn. I think there's a couple points here that everyone needs to walk away with. The first one is utilize the resources that you have. She was kind of hesitant about going into the gym that she basically has a free office in, right? And so, I think that she was just stuck in her head on what she should do. And so use the resources that you have in front of you. Don't try to circumvent things that are right in front of you. Utilize what you got, right? Especially if it's low cost and free. She has an office space that she can use basically for free, and her target demographic is right there. She'd be a fool not to use that. Another example is like for my own practice. Like I used some furniture that I had in my garage for when I first started my practice. It was just sitting there. I had some old pictures. They were just sitting there in the garage collecting dust. I just hung those up in my office. I just used some of that furniture in my office. Use what you got. Don't go out and buy a bunch of brand new stuff. It's totally unnecessary. And also, focus on income generating activities to prioritize tasks in your business, okay? If it's income generating, focus on it. If it's busy work, don't focus on it. If you're having a hard time prioritizing tasks in your business, make notes with things that come up in your mind, okay? Pull up your phone, load up the note app, and just start writing down the tasks, okay? Every time it crosses your mind, get in there, put the task there. When you see it listed there in front of you, you'll be able to prioritize the tasks. You'll be able to look at them and be like, what's important and what's not. If it generates income and helps maintain your legal compliance, it's important, okay? If it doesn't do those things, it's not that important. Like I told Jen, I look back at my notes from a couple years ago and there's still things on there I haven't done. And guess what? I'll never do them because it's not important. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2022 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.